Hi everybody, it's Bryony here, or B as I prefer. I'm back again to do another singing session with you. Now this singing session is slightly different than I originally planned. I tried last week to do rhythm and tempo and melody and pitch last week and decided that it was just far too big a subject to smush into one video. So this week, instead of doing that, we're just going to focus on the rhythm, tempo and duration. So we're thinking about the speed of the music and also this the pattern of the music and all of that sort of stuff. So before we do that, we have to do what we always have to do at the workout. We make sure that we've got a nice bottle of water or squash, but not fizzy drinks or dairy. Gotta stay hydrated. About. I'm a bit limited here because I don't have much space. The Morris Tutor Monks, you might notice that I am not in our usual space, but I'm going to do my best and I'm going to get you up and moving. So you need to make sure that you have a space to move about in and that you've got nice flexy clothes on, like my lovely Hillingdon top. So first things first, we're going to get our blood pumping. So I'm going to do some knee-ups. You've seen me do knee-ups before, so join in if you can. Going to try and not knock my laptop off of anything. This one's good because, again, if we're keeping our back straight and we're making sure that we're using those abs, it wakes up our breathing muscles. So it's a good one to get going. If you are strong enough or flexible enough, and it does need strength and flexibility, you can do a straight leg tap. So you can either reach with this hand and tap your toe, or reach with this hand. I'm going to stick to the knee ups today. That's a nice way of working out these lower muscles as well on your back. So nice and flexible, giving our organs space to move around like we talked about last week. Star jumps are always a good one. Again, we're making sure that our knees are bending when we're landing and our heels are on the floor once we land. So we don't get bone spurs, shin splints, or any other nasty stuff. So we're bringing our arms all the way up and then all the way in. We're crossing at the bottom. If we cross at the bottom, we work this bit. And again, those are all our breathing muscles. So do some of these. Now, we're going to do something that I really enjoy doing. It's a good way to just shake out. We are going to do rubber chicken. So we're going to count down. So you just need to follow me. We're going to count down. And when we get to the end, we're going to just move our whole bodies and yell rubber chicken because it's fun. So starting with our right hand, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm letting my whole arm jiggle about. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then our feet, right foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And our left foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's the balance here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're saying our numbers nice and loud too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You get the picture? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1. Around the chicken round. That's a good one because it's just fun and silly. Okay, next we're going to do some shoulder rolls. So roll as back as far back as you can. I don't have space to swing my arms here, so I'm not going to. But that's another one that you can use. But remember, these ones help us focus on bringing our shoulders to our ears and back and down. Whereas those ones are more about these muscles. So they do something different. So I've moved forwards now. I didn't tell you. Rolling my shoulders forwards. Give them a shake off. Now we're going to do our nice neck stretch. So our hands are at our sides at first. Our shoulders are down. We're going to let our head drift to the side. Nice and slowly. And then we're going to let this hand float up and just rest gently on our head. So we're not letting the shoulder come up, it's still nice and low. We're not pulling on our head because we don't want to damage our neck. And now we can give these fingers a twiddle down by our side. Okay, now we're going to let this one float away. And we're going to slowly let our head rise back up. Okay, once it's in the middle, you can give it a little spin in the middle to make sure the back of your neck's not tensing up. We're just going to let it drop to the other side, so keeping both shoulders nice and down. Putting our hand on our head and we're just letting it rest. We're not pulling anything. Our shoulders not rising. We're going to let these fingers do a little bit of a twiddle. Okay, now we're going to just let that float down. So that's got us thinking nice and low. So now we're going to stretch all of our bodies straight up. So we're going to go up on our tiptoes and we're going to try and touch the ceiling. Ugh. This one tests your balance as well as everything else. Make sure your ankles are not dipping in or out. That's how we hurt our ankles and that's not the goal. We're just trying to get everything as stretched as possible. And then come back down. Okay. Another exercise that we can do to get all of our body involved is to tighten up into a tiny little ball. So I want to do it so that you can still see me. So we're tightening up all the way on the floor, all the way in a little ball, like a little pebble. And then we're just going to go out as far as we can go, as wide as we can go. Our head stretching up to the sky. And then all tight. Little pebble, tiny, tiny, tiny little, maybe a shrimp, maybe a tiny little shrimp hiding. And then as wide as you can go. And then I'll bring our hands right back up to the top and go back on our tiptoes, stretching up as high as we can. Oh, that is nice. Now we're going to go back to our neck. Now we've released a little bit more of the muscles around it. We're going to let our head, let our chin just drip down. So there's no pressure there. It's just nice and relaxed. And we're going to interlace our fingers. Put them on the back of our heads. And again, we're definitely not pushing for this one because we do not want to injure our necks. It's very easy to do and it's very painful. Making sure our belly is supporting us, our back is supporting us. We're not flopping about. We're just letting our head drift down. Okay, nicely done. Now let our hands drop. We're pulling our head back nice and gently, and we're even going to, so I'm going to step away from the wall here a little bit closer to you. We're going to let our chin drift up. Now we're not crunching into the back of our neck. Never do we crunch into the back of our neck. So our neck has to stay nice and long and supported. We're just going to let our chin float up. Nice and gentle. Again, no crunching into the back of your neck. Nice long shape, looking at the sky. And then we're bringing it back. And this time, we're going to let ourselves keep going forwards. We're going to let that head be a weight. I've got a wall behind me, so this is actually really good for this sort of practice. I'm going to put as much of my back against the wall as I can, so you have a natural dip in your lower back. But if you roll your hips forwards a little bit, you can get every bit of your back onto the wall. So my shoulders are a bit tight at the moment, so I'm going to take a second to focus on them as we make sure that they're not getting in the way, because this is about our back. So we're going to let our head drip down, and we're going to imagine that every single vertebrae, every single bone in our spine is slowly, one by one, sinking down, and try and feel it against the wall if you're against the wall. Now, if you are against the wall, when you get to the point that I am now, when your bottom is the only bit against the wall, it is okay to tip forward slightly. So let that bottom rise up a little bit. Don't look up what you want. So again, when we're doing this, we're rolling down bit by bit, and we're trying to focus on every single vertebrae. And then when we get to the bottom, we're just going to hang. We're just going to hang there. So my butt's popped out a little bit. I'm touching my toes. This is not about touching your toes. This is about letting your back stretch. It's also not about your hamstrings. They might get involved if you've got particularly tight hamstrings, but if your hamstrings are stopping you getting a stretch in your back, bend your knees a little bit further, and then it's about your back and not your hamstrings. We're just gonna rest here for a little bit. Just let our head, our back, all hang down. And we're gonna slowly straighten ourselves back up, and our head is the last thing to come up. So if you were doing this with me against the wall, so you've come away from the wall with your butt sticking out, then as you slowly come up from that, you're going to try and get every vertebrae, starting with those bottom ones, up against the wall. And it's almost like you're tying a zip. One half of the zip is your back and one half is the wall, and you're just zipping yourself up. And the last thing again that comes up is your head. So making sure our shoulders aren't getting involved. If you've got tight shoulders like me, while you're down there or while you're standing, you can give yourself a big hug. Take a deep breath in. Make sure you're breathing into your back. And okay, now I'm going to drop my arms, swing them out and pull them back in. So we're going to go in. And swing them out. So nice flexy shoulders that don't get in our way. Then we're going to move on to breathing. You might be asking me, Bryony, this is a theoretical thing. Why are we doing so much of a warm-up? Because you got to warm up every day, guys. If you want to have a strong voice for practice and for performance, you've got to have a regular workout. I'm going to do this sitting because I think it's the best way for you to be able to see me. And you can join me on the floor if you like. So when I'm sitting on the floor, I like to sit with my legs crossed or with my feet together, and my legs open, sort of like a butterfly pose from yoga. Why do I like to sit like this? Well, it means that I'm certain that I'm on my sit bones. I'm sitting right on my bottom, so my spine's nicely aligned and my gut is open and ready to let the air fall into my body. So today we're only going to do a quick breath warm up. I want you to take a deep breath in for me and just feel where your breath is in your body today. Is it nice and low? Is it really high in your chest? I've had a very panicky day today, so mine is quite high, but it's all right. This bit of a warm up is about noticing your breath, thinking, might be good if it was a bit lower today, but not going, oh no, it's in the wrong place. That's not what we need. So we're going to take a nice deep breath in all the way down to our bellies. We're going to let our bellies blow up like balloons. Okay, so and we're going to let it out through our nose. So I've got a little rise in my shoulders today. I'm noticing it, but I'm not judging it. Okay, breathe in. Out through our mouth this time. In. And and release. So that tells us where our breath is, where we're kind of feeling today. Are you feeling unsteady and up? Maybe coming down to the floor would be a good way to help release that. Maybe you're already feeling really low and relaxed and ready to go. So we're going to do in for 4, hold for 4, out for 8. Okay. And when we breathe out, we're going to breathe out just naturally breathe out this time. So we're not trying to make a noise, we're just breathing from our mouth. Okay, so in. Okay, how did that feel? Did you feel like that was really easy? Did you feel like you brought too much breath in? Just something to think about while you're warming up. So we're going to do that again. And this time we're going to start heading towards voice. So we're going to breathe in. Going to hold. We're going to breathe out on a noise. Okay, how did that feel for you? For me, that felt a bit tough, but that's something to think about while I go on. So next, we're going to do that again. We're going to take it up to 12. And the reason I know you'll be able to take it up to 12 is because we're going to a voiced sound. So because we did our sound for our unvoiced, we're going to do our v sound. So sus is opposite to z, and v is opposite to f, or well, not opposite. That's the same sound, but with voice. So we're going to do that nice v sound. So we're going to breathe in. We're going to hold. And we're going to breathe out on a v. Okay, where were you with that sound? I think I put too much air into it, which made me a bit unsteady. Again, not judging myself, just noticing it and thinking, okay, maybe I need to practice that sound a little bit more. Next, we're going to go to a nice hum. And I think hums are really, really good for rhythm practice. So the sounds we'll use today will either be m, t, or ta. Okay, so those are our kind of rhythm noises because they're easy to do without a note or with a note. So we're going to come to that nice hum. We're going to put our hands on our face. You can close your eyes if you want to. We're going to do that 4 in again, 4 hold, and then 12 out. So we're going. I took in way too much air too quickly that time. I'm going to relax a bit because obviously I'm feeling a bit tight. I'm going to breathe in. I'm going to hold. And we're going to hum for 12. So we want to feel it in our face. So we're pushing all the sound forward. So chew it forward. Okay, going to do a little wiggle and we're going to do that one again, okay? So make sure you're comfortable where you are and you're recognizing things and you're not being mean to yourself. So breathe in. And out. That felt a bit more level for me. That's okay. Right. Now we are going to let ourselves play in the pitch. So we're not going to be doing much pitch work, but it's good to have a practice. So where am I feeling today? I'm feeling quite low. So I'm going to go from low to high with my siren. And our siren sound today is ng, ng, like sing or thing. So we're going to find that ng, and I'm going to start low. You can start wherever you want, but we're just going to play about in our range. So we're not pushing for anything really high or really low. We're going where is comfortable. Something might be a bit tougher. Practice it gently. Gentle practice is so important. So I'm just gonna Why did I do that weird breath in the middle? To remind myself that I don't need to put so much air in when I'm sirening. So my biggest tendency is to put loads and loads of air through that's unnecessary. Next week, when we're playing with pitches and tones, I'm going to ask you to bring a straw and a glass of water so that we can do an exercise where you can see your breath changing as you change pitch. Now, our goal is to keep it the same as much as possible, but there's no judgment. we're on a path to learning, and you're going to see me breathe far too much in that upper register. So let's just play through where we feel we needed a bit. Was there any cracks? Is there any creases? We're just going to Okay, let's move on from our pitches because we don't need it that much today, but we're going to do some diction dumbbells. So we know that our s and our z are the same. One's voiced and one is unvoiced. And our f and our v are the same. The first one was unvoiced, the second one voiced. But we also have and d. Can you hear the difference? D and d. So the placement is the same. We're tapping that alveolar ridge behind our teeth. D, d. They're the same. We also have and b, b, b. Look at yourself in the mirror while you're making those noises and you'll be surprised at how similar they are. Yes, so t, d, b, and g, g, and k. So those are sounds that a lot of people have trouble with because your k and your g are made at the very back of your mouth by your tongue blocking air. So that can be quite tricky. So today, we're just going to do a pattern. And this will help us with our rhythm as well because the pattern gets shorter. The tempo increases, okay? So we're going to start with our nice voiced, no, we'll start with our unvoiced sounds. That makes more sense. So we're going to start with a p. So we're going to go pa, 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 pa. That's simple. Do you want to repeat that with me? Pa, 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 pa. Now we don't need a lot of air for this, so focus on your face, not your breath. Except to go, don't need that much breath, maybe I won't. So that was our nice slow start. Then we're going to increase the speed. So we've got pa, 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 pa. And now we're going to add pa, 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 pa. So if we were looking at our beats, you could think about our slow one being our regular beat and our quick one having voice on the off beats. So we're going to go back to that. So pa, 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 pa. Now the next one gets a little bit more confusing because we're going to do even faster. So we're going to go pa, 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 pa. Okay, with me? Pa, 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 pa. Okay. Pa, 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 pa. So let's go from the beginning, shall we? Pa, 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 pa. Pa, 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 pa. Pa, 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 pa. And now here's the last bit. Pa, 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 pa. So there'll be letters that this is harder for and easier for. So, but it's the one that always throws me. So pa, 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 pa. You watch me when we get to the D's and T's. I am a mess. So let's start. Let's do that for our pa's, shall we? So pa, 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 pa. Pa, 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 pa. Pa, 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 pa. Pa, 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 pa. Okay, now we're gonna shift that pa to a t. So our t is the unvoiced of our d. And we're doing the same rhythm that we just learned with a different letter. So ta, 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 ta. Ta 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 ta. Okay, should we do that one more time? It's quite tricky. Ta 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 ta. Okay, so that's our tempo changed because our rhythm changed. So just thinking about music, thinking about what you've heard and what's going on in your day-to-day life. Everything kind of has a rhythm to it. So we're going to move from our ta to our ka. So we're remembering our ka is our unvoiced g. So we're unvoicing a g and it turns into a ka. So ka, 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 ka. Ka 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 ka. So you could hear me losing that last bit. That bit's really hard to do. So this one also helps us work our tongue. So we're being very conscious of our tongue as we do our kas. Okay, let's do it again. So ka 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 ka. We're also keeping our chin nice and still. Ka 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 ka. Ka 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 ka. Ka 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 ka. Okay, should we do that last bit again? Ka 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 ka. And again, for me, that was bad. Ka 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 ka. There we are. We got through it. So that one's another one where if your breath is maybe pushing a little bit too hard, your tongue has to work extra hard to make the sound it wants to make. So we want to avoid that. So now we're going back through that and we're using our voiced sounds. So instead of a p, we've got a b. Okay. B, 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 ba, 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 ba. Ba, 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 ba. Ba, 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 ba. Okay, I start to get a little wiggle because I'm thinking too much about it. So let's do that again. Ba, 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 ba. Ba, 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 ba. Ba, 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 ba. Ba, 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 ba. Just blowing out my lips a bit because that's a lot of focus on them. So our next voiced sound is a D. So instead of a T, we've got a D. Okay? D, 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 D. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Okay, we're gonna run back through that one. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Okay. Now we're going to that G sound. G. G, 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 G. G, 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 G. G, 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 G. G, 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 G. So that one feels really weird if you don't do it regularly. So we're just going to stick our tongues out all the way as far as you can stick it out. Then try and touch your chin. And on those. Ear. Ear. Okay, why have I done that? Because we're waking up our tongue a little bit more, so it's more able to do the G if the G was a struggle before. So let's get back to that G, shall we? G, 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 G. G, 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 G. G, 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 G. G, 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 G. Easier that time? I hope so. So now we have done a bit of articulation, we've done a bit of placement, we've done a little bit of all of the things that we need to practice. So we're going to move on to a little bit of theory, and I'm going to try and make this as fun as possible, because the reason I was rubbish at theory was because nobody found the right way to teach me. The first thing we're going to find very quickly is whether I know how to make the Zoom camera not flip so that I can actually show you what I've written down. So, today we are covering rhythm, tempo, and duration. So, I've got a little list of. Nope, that's backwards. We don't want you guys to be backwards. Let's see if I can fix that. One. Right. So, an example. I'm going to sing a bit of Seven Nation Army, and I want you to guess which bit is a beat and which bit is a rhythm. So, dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Okay, so which bit was the beat and which bit was a rhythm? One of them was vocal, and one of them was a body percussive, I suppose you could call it. So drum is a percussive. So which one was which? Well, I like to think of the beat as the rhythm. No, that's not what I mean at all. I like to think of the beat as the pulse of the song. So that's the bit that tells you. So I've got, maybe I'll do it on the wall behind me so it's not so loud on the laptop. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to be the same throughout the song. Generally, there is a few exceptions, but most things stick to one pulse. So that's what I've got written here. Pulse. We know that the pulse can be measured. How do we measure that? We use BPM. What on earth is BPM? Beats per minute. So you might get a song that is 120, that's quite regular, or you might get one that's 180, which is a bit faster, or you might even, I'll show you an example of one, get down as far as 66, which is weird. We don't normally hear it, but they are out there. So next bit is rhythm. So if my drumming bit there was a beat, then the singing bit I did was a rhythm. But it doesn't have to be a vocal or even a sort of more melodic instrument, because it's a rhythm. So I've got different lengths of note, of beat, of whatever you want to call it. So I'll try and do it with one hand. So this is our beat. So I'm going to try and keep that one the same. It's quite hard to do when you're not very good at it. The drummers do it all the time. So 1, 2, oh, that would be easier. I'll count it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, oh, it gets tricky. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that was using off beats and on beats and all sorts of things. It was quite a tricky rhythm to think and say and do at the same time. Not all rhythms are that tricky, but it gives you an idea of what to listen for when you're thinking about beat and you're thinking about rhythm, because sometimes it can get a bit confusing. And one of them tells you, the consistent one, tells you how fast you're singing. And the other might be the pattern that you're singing it to, or it might be a pattern that you are bouncing off of, doing something different to make a song have more depth and more interest. The last thing I have here, duration. I don't know if you can even see it. Duration. There we are. Duration is the length each note is played for. Okay, so that's what I was talking about with the rhythm. You've got some long notes and some short ones. So too short. So that's so a really easy way to kind of put it into practice is T's and T's. So our T, 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 T is going to be our short one. And our ta is a long one. So we might say ta, T, T, ta, ta. Okay, so try and repeat that. So ta, T, T, ta, ta. Now without me. Okay, I'm going to join in again. Ta, T, T, ta, ta. Okay. Ta, T, T, ta, ta. So our beat is staying consistent. Ta, T, T. See, I slipped. Ta, T, 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 ta. Ta, T, 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 ta. Okay, try and repeat it. Ta, T, 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 ta. Okay. Did that make sense? Could you kind of feel what was going on there? So I want to start with our rhythm to begin with, because there's some fun games that you can do with rhythm, and I'm going to teach you one of them. So the first game I'm going to teach you is another one of those sort of 1, 2, 3 games, like we played in our warm-up week, but this time we're focusing on rhythms. So each rule has got a different rhythm. So you got to remember what is what. So the first one we're going to do, and eventually when we're all together, we're going to be doing this walking around the room. So it really does take some concentration. So our first rhythm, our number 1, okay? Number 1 rhythm. Okay, that's 1. Simple, isn't it? So we'll be walking around the space and I'll say 1 and you will go. Hopefully you got that right. Okay, our next one is number 2. So for number 2, our rhythm goes, nope, it doesn't do that. So we go 1, 2, 3, 1. Okay, so 1 is, and then 2 is. Okay, does that make sense? So we've, instead of having, which only has 1 before the clap, we've got, which has 2 before the clap. And 3, I'm sure you'll be stunned and amazed that 3 is. Wait, no, it's not. I'm lying to you. I'm lying to you. I know, we've got to get it back in my brain now. Okay. Oh, yes, it's a really tricky one. Okay, so number 3 is, it's not quite so similar. So you go 1, 2. Got to count that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I forgot how tricky that one was. Okay, let's see if you can follow me along with that one. I know it's tricky. Okay, hopefully you can hear the difference between my thigh slaps and my claps. Let's try that again. That's number 3. Okay, so 1. Easiest thing in the world. 2. Pretty easy still. 3 is a big jump. Okay, did you get that? Now, number 4, I like to call eat my shorts, because you go, eat my shorts. Why don't you eat my shorts? Eat my shorts. Why don't you eat my shorts? Let's try that again. Eat my shorts. Why don't you eat my shorts? No, that's not right either. Honestly, my brain has melted. Okay, eat my shorts. Why don't you eat my shorts? Yes, that's it. So, eat my shorts. Why don't you eat my shorts? Eat my shorts. Why don't you eat my shorts? So mine is our shoulders. Let's remember it that way. Okay, so again, eat my shorts. Why don't you eat my shorts? Nearly there. Okay, so we're gonna go 1, 2, 3. Then we're gonna go eat my shorts. What? No, we're not. We're gonna go eat my shorts. Eat. No, my shoulders. Excuse me. Take a sip of water. So, let's try that again. Eat my shorts. Why don't you eat my shorts? Why don't you eat my shorts. Okay. Eat my shorts. Why don't you eat my shorts? Okay. Okay. Now we're going to walk around the room and we're going to do the same thing. So, number 3. Get it? Okay, if you didn't get it, then you lose a life in this game. You get 3 lives, and you're out. Okay, so number 1. Okay, number 1. Number 4. Okay, and number 3. Got it? Number 2. Number 1. Number 2. Number 1. Number 3. Number 4. No, I did it wrong. I lost a life. No. Okay. So I'm on 2 lives now. Number 1. Number 1. Number 2. Number 2. Number 2. Number 3. Number 1. Number 1. Number 1. Number 3. Number 4. I think I got it that time. You guys will have to tell me if I didn't. Number 3. Number 1. And one last 4. How did you do? Do you feel like you understood that? Did that make sense to you? Did the length of note? So it doesn't have a pitch because it's well, it almost does have a pitch, I suppose. Different body percussives will have a different pitch. Because if you think about how sound works, something with a bigger space on the inside, a bigger surface area, like a really big drum. If you think of a bass drum, they're large. They are large. Whereas if you think about one of the tiny bongo drums, they make a higher note, etc. But the note isn't what we're thinking about. We're thinking about those patterns of lengths. So the duration of that note, if we think, so we tend to, this tends to be the quick one and that tends to be the longer one. Okay, so it does have a difference of notes and that range of patterns and the different instruments that you use. So maybe if we're thinking about that drum set, 1 and 3 could be bass, and then 2 and 4 might be a kick drum. So I didn't understand that. Thank you, Bixby. My phone is trying to help. So if we think of our pattern as 1, 2, 3, 4, and we want to measure out the beat in a certain way. So we've got our nice bass drum going. And then I want to throw in a kick on the 4. So and now I want to throw in a clap on the 2. Okay, so we're going to go. So in that case, we're still measuring the beat, but we're using different instruments to do so. Whereas, so let's go back to our tars and our tees. So we're going to keep our rhythm with our hand. We're going to go in a 4. So Ta, ti, ti, ta, ta. Ta, ti, 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 ta. Ta, ti, ti, ta, ta. Ta, ti, 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 ta. So I'm using this beat, this pulse, to tell me what I'm doing. So if we change, we'll make it simple. So if we go, so this is our bass and this is our kick. We're imagining drums. So ta, ti, ti, ta, ta. Ta, ti, 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 ta. Okay, now that first bar, so that first pattern of 4 beats, instead of the clap at the second, at the 4th beat, I'm going to put a click, okay? Ta, ti, ti, ta, ta. Ta, ti, 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 ta. Oh, see, I lost it. So, ta, ti, ti, ta, ta. So I want to put that last click as a clap. I've changed my mind. So I'm going to go ta, ti, ti, ta, ta. Ta, ti, 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 ta. It's hard to do. You got to focus. Ta, ti, ti, ta, ta. Ta, ti, 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 ta. So I threw a lot in there. Maybe you were singing with me, maybe you were just listening. So that was a rhythm with voice that interacted with the beat and the other rhythm keeping instruments. Okay. I hope that's kind of given you an idea of how a rhythm is different from a beat. So your rhythm might change a lot throughout the song, but your beat tends to stay in a similar pattern or the same pattern. So a drum might have a solo that goes off, but they keeping that bass going or something along those lines. Or maybe another instrument will take over the measurement of the beat. So often bass guitars do that in rock songs. If the drum's off doing something else, the bass is keeping the beat. So the whole band knows how to stay together. Singers do sometimes keep the beat. And in choirs and a cappella songs, you'll often have someone either beatboxing or just using a note to keep the beat. We talked about duration already. So that was what I was saying about the length of the notes within the bar. So we've got that ta or ti, ta, ti. But there's something called a whole note. And a whole note is, you can get 4 of those in a 4/4 time signature, which I will show you in a second. You can get 4 whole notes into a bar. Use up that, no, I've confused myself. A whole note is the whole bar, the whole beat, 4 beat section. A whole note is the length of that. So you can get 4 snips of that into a bar. Now's probably a good time to talk about time signatures, actually. So, this was another thing I wanted to tell you about. So, this is about time signatures. So we've got 4/4. This is really common in pop music, and it's what I was using there. T, T, ta, ta. I'm using the whole of the beat. It's also called duple meter. Duple, like double. So it's an even numbered scale. And the beats tend to be 1 is strong, 2 is weak, 3 is strong, 4 is weak. 3 is often like, so most people like to hit the first bit of the bar. So that's where that bass drum would come in. Then 2 might be a kick drum, it might be a click, it might be any of that sort of stuff. 3 might be that bass drum again, but it also might be a different sound that gives the same like strength, the same sort of punch. And 4 goes back to that settle. So when we were thinking, when we were doing that activity, so our light one is our clap. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're hitting that 1. That's not in every song, but it's in a lot of songs. And the other tricky one to learn is 3, 4. That is the other most common one. I'm going to play you a couple of songs. Actually, no, before I do this, I will show you this one. So, it would happen if I didn't have it upside down. So, we have our time signature. This is what a time signature looks like, okay? So, it'll be a number, then a dash, and then a number. So, the first number shows how many beats are in the bar. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can get all sorts of different time signatures, but 4/4 is the most regular. The second one tells us how long the whole note lasts for. So does it last for 1 beat, or does it last the whole bar? Most pop songs are in 4/4, but 3/4 is also quite common. I'm going to go to my handy dandy Spotify playlist, which, depending on what you guys think, I could share with you. And I want to play you a couple of songs in 4/4. And they're at different speeds as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that one's nice and acousticy. So he's using his guitar to keep the beat. But could you think while we're listening to these songs, think about, can you hear a strong beat and a weak beat? Is it where you expect it to be, or is it something different? So this one is another song in 4/4. So it's a slightly different tempo, and we can hear 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So he uses a very gentle kick in this. Because a bass drum would be out of place, so he's just using it's almost a tick sound. So his little tick sounds are actually on the 2 and the 4 of our 4. Okay, so we're counting 4, but his little noises are on the 2 and the 4, not the 1 and the 3. Now we're going to go to 3/4, and some people call this the waltz time scale, time signature, because it's what you waltz to. So 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that is a very classic kind of waltz. And why I wanted to show you that song is because it's a really clear example. His guitar is really clearly picking out those threes, but it's not necessarily the only music that has it. So I'm going to show you. So this is faster, but it's still 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you don't have to be slow to change time signature. It's about how many beats are in that whole note. And that whole note is our measurement of the bar. So hopefully that was quite clear. There are lots of different time signatures. You can get 6/8, you can get 2/4, you can get all sorts. Often marches are measured in 4 or 8. But for a singer, the most common time signatures you'll be asked to sing in are the 3 or the 4. So 3/4 or 4/4. And you will have noticed listening to those, hopefully, that the singers don't necessarily start singing on the first beat of the bar. Quite often they start before that. So they might start on the 3 of the bar or the 4 of the bar before. You got a lot of freedom as singers. But it's essential that we know how to count a beat, because if you're going in on a 3, you need to be able to hear where the 1 and the 2 are. And also when we're learning sheet music, it's very difficult to understand sheet music as anything more than a bunch of patterns on a ladder if you don't understand the time signature. So I've given you a really brief overview of 2 time signatures and how we use them. But there is endless information on the internet and some quite fun videos on YouTube that talk about it. So if you give me an email or something to tell me that you want me to share a link or give you an example of a song, feel free to do that. Whatever helps you learn more. I'm well up for giving you extra information. Now, I want to talk a little bit about beats per minute. So this is how most music is measured. Their tempo is measured. The tempo in a song can change. It can get faster and slower. So when you're working in time signatures, the time signature doesn't change so much as the duration of the notes. And in pop music, often we measure in beats per minute because I suppose it's the easiest way of measuring. So to get beats per minute, you either count how many beats happen in 30 seconds and double it, or you could do 15, and it's quite simple maths, but it's about counting and finding it. I would like to show you a couple of songs. So this is my nice little, I've made a scale. At the top here, at 180. Now 180 is quite fast. I'll give you an example. So this is Jay-Z and Beyonce. This sounds a bit slow. But if you think about the beats, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. The beats are fast. His actual vocal is slower than the beat. This one might be easier to find a way into. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Very different style of song, same BPM, 180. This one. So this is fast, but it's the same BPM. The time signature for this song would be quite interesting because it's a tango. So that's a lot of stepping on the three, I believe, of the beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's our last 181. I will give you a break from 180. Let's slow it down a little bit, shall we? To 120. Does anyone know what is interesting about 120 BPM? It is the speed that most songs, popular pop music uses. There's an idea within music of manufactured bands and manufactured music, stuff that you can put together mathematically and make a hit. That's the idea that's out there. And funnily enough, a lot of that maths would include 120 BPM. So we're going to give this a listen. Try and find the beat on your own first this time without me. Right, turn off the lights. We're gonna lose our minds tonight. What's the dealio? I love when it's all too much. You got it? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So pink here is starting on the 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's our 4-time signature again. If you were counting there, I should have given you enough time to actually count how many beats fitted into that 30 seconds. DJ got us falling in love. This again, different type of music, still quite poppy. That's okay. Different style completely. Same BPM. 120. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're getting a pattern, aren't you? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the drum changed, it moves, but you still have that skeleton, that pulse. Okay, next we're going to go down. We're going to drop it. We're going to drop our BPM to 100 beats per minute. So we're going to start with Gives You Hell. by the All American Rejects. It's a little bit chiller. It occurs to me the Year 3000 by Busted is probably the same. I wake up every evening. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. See if you can find the heavy beat and the light beat. Yeah? Try a different genre in that 100. So this has a lot of offbeats being hit as the style. So that's when you kind of go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So that under is our offbeat. So dancers often count in 8 because that includes the offbeats and movements can happen in between. And now I'm going to show you a song that is bafflingly slow. So this is the only song that wasn't a classical song that's BPM was below 80. In fact, its BPM is 66 beats per minute. It's crazy slow, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. In fact, I think that might be a bit fast. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So crazy, my baby. Yes, you've got a nice drum coming in on the 2. And the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3. Okay. So what have we learnt today? We played a lot of rhythm games. Well, no, we played one main rhythm game and the rest were more rhythm exercises. So what's rhythm? A rhythm is a pattern of long and short notes, our tars and our titis, if you want to think about it that way. And different instruments can hold a rhythm, can play a rhythm, you can sing a rhythm, you can clap a rhythm, whatever you feel. The rhythm might be played across multiple instruments or multiple body parts as we used. We learn about the pulse, the beat, and because we learned about the beat, we learned about time signatures. So if we're thinking 4, 4, what does that mean? So the length of a whole note is 4 for the whole note. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a whole note. That's the whole note. That's the 4. And then our beats are how many we get in that 4. So instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, It might be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. They both have the same whole note length, but the snipping of the notes, if we think of our beats as scissors, our 4-beat bar is snipped into 4. Four little cubes to put your notes in. And if you've got a 3/4 time signature, you get 3 notes into that section. And that section on our sheet music is called a bar, B-A-R, bar. Okay, so we have looked at 4/4 duple meter, which has a heavy on the 1, a weak on the 2, a strong on the 3, and a weak on the 4, generally. But we learnt there that people shift those about for different effects. We also learnt 3/4, which has a strong number 1 and 2 weak following. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, like in that Elvis song. We also learned what BPM means. What does BPM mean? Beats per minute. How do you measure it? You measure the beats in a minute, or you can measure a beat in 15 seconds and then times that by 4. It's quite simple. Duration. Tell me what duration is. It's the length of a note. Okay, so a rhythm is a mix of durations of notes. I believe that's it for today. I hope this has been useful for you. It's definitely helped me brush up on a few things. To practice your rhythm for when you're going to learn songs in the future, if you want to learn to sight read, all of that fun stuff. There's lots of online resources, but also it helps to listen. So listen to your favorite album, listen to each thing, find the beat, find the time signature maybe, and count it in your head with your clicking or your tapping. Counting out loud helps me sometimes. Often I jiggle my head at the same time. Often the beats that make you want to move, make you want to dance, are an integral part of the song. So if you feel the need to sway and click, you're probably swaying and clicking in time with the beat of the music. So think about that next time you're singing in a shower or you're walking the dog and you've got a song stuck in your head. Count the beat, count the rhythm. And next week, we're going to look at melodies, pitches, octaves, all of those fun, scary music words that really aren't as difficult as they seem. And we're going to get, we're going to get a little singy. So I hope this has been really helpful for you. I hope it also has been quite fun and I have not bored you to tears. And I look forward to seeing you all again next week. Thanks so much. Bye.